is a very special stream because we're gonna do the first day of Advent of Code. Now, this is something I usually don't commit to be honest, because I know I can't do it. One, I can't do the hard questions. Well, I mean, I might be able to figure them out, but they get really, really hard. But two, I just don't have time. Like, Advent of Code is, something that's very, like, it takes a lot of time and effort. So, for those of you who don't know what that is, let me enlighten you. So, if you go to adventofcode.com, there we go, adventofcode.com, basically what it is every single year they do this in December, where every single day they post a new programming problem, or rather a problem that you solve by coding. And it's not like, I'd say it's not very like application-y, in the sense that you're not like, it's not gonna say make a web app that does X, or like, fix some, I don't know, some permissions issue in this. It's more of like, it's kind of like one of those math word problems that you used to do in school, where it's like Jane and Jack were running, and then Jane has like 5 meters on Jack, and you know what I'm talking about, right? So they're kind of like that, except rather than solving them by doing a bunch of math, you solve them by programming, by coding up a solution. So let's dive right in, shall we? At the first question here. I gotta say, when you go to this website, your initial thought is, what the heck am I looking at? Because it's not very clear. I don't think it's very clear what it is, unless you like hover over and then you see, okay, now I get it. But let me just see if anybody said something in chat. Okay. Audio sounds good. Music, I turned down the music. Matthew, thank you so much for subscribing 4 months in a row. That's awesome. That subscription money will go to charity, just like it always has on my channel, and I really appreciate that. And I guess you. Oh, well, thank you for the emoji, the emote. I'm gonna hit the thank button and see what that does. There you go. Are you going to use PowerShell or something else? For this, I'm going to use PowerShell. The idea here is that I'm going to first write the solution in PowerShell, and then I'm going to take that solution and I'm going to convert it into other languages. And we'll just see how far we get today. I'm going to end probably around like 11:30-ish. And we'll see how that goes. If we get this done pretty quickly, maybe we'll get to the second question. But we'll see. We'll see. Gonna take it one step at a time. So I've got my my browser here of Advent of Code, and then I've got VS Code here, and we're just gonna make a day1.ps1 here, and that's what we're gonna do to start. Alrighty. Let the extension start up. So let's take a look at the first question. So day 1, report repair. After saving Christmas 5 years in a row, you decided to take a vacation at a nice resort on a tropical island. Surely Christmas will go on without you, right? The tropical island has its own currency and is entirely cash only. Woof. gold coins used there have a little picture of a starfish. The locals just call them stars. None of the currency exchanges seem to have heard of them, but somehow you'll need to find 50 of these coins by the time you arrive so you can pay the deposit on your room. To save your vacation, you need to get all 50 stars by December 25th. Oh boy. Collect stars by solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be made available on each day in the advent calendar. The second puzzle is unlocked when you complete the first. Each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck. Wow. Also, for those of you who don't know what an advent calendar is, very like Christmassy thing where every day from December 1st to December 25th on Christmas Day, there's like, let me just show you what a picture of one looks like. Advent calendar. You like, yeah, here we go. Right, so here's a sample advent calendar, and every single day you open the little package and there's like some treats or like a toy in there or something like that. I used to do this as a kid a couple times, not like every year, but yeah. And they have a bunch of funny themed advent calendars as well. Yeah, so that's what this is. In case you've never heard of them before. Sometimes they will like jumble up where the advent calendars are, or where the numbers are. So like in this case, you could see there's 1 here, and then there's 2 over here, 3 is over here, as you like kind of uncover more of it. What is this? Why is this in the advent calendar section? Whatever. Anyway, back to the deal here. So this is giving context on the whole of advent calendar. But let's go ahead and get to the actual problem. So, good luck. I've done all 3 days in PowerShell, and it's 3 more than last year. Nice. Keep it up. Keep it up. It's pretty fun. I like that they do this every year. So, before you leave, the elves in accounting just need you to fix your expense report, aka your puzzle input. Apparently, something isn't quite adding up. Ooh. Specifically, they need you to find the 2 entries that sum to 2020, and then multiply those 2 numbers together. For example, suppose your expense report contains the following: 1721, blah, 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 numbers. In this list, 2 entries that sum to 2020 are 1721 and 299. Multiplying them together produces that. So the correct answer is 514579. Of course, your expense report is much larger, naturally. Find the 2 entries that sum to 2020. When do you get... Find the 2 entries that sum to 2020. What do you get if you multiply them together? To play, please identify yourselves. Fine. Honestly, Korbob, I wouldn't be surprised if they made the stories up after the problems. Well, so there's so my college was big into competitive programming, which is basically this, but like timed and like very intense. I wasn't on the team, but my school did very, very well for itself in terms of this competitive programming, and I think that's why a lot of tech companies seem to like my school's like my school a lot. But anyway, I'm actually going to do a day one and do one of these. We're going to call this part one. And then we're going to do part one input. Wait, not PS1. Whoops. Let's do just a TXT file. That'll do. Sure. All right. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, where I was going with that is I wouldn't be surprised if they took like some programming problems from the giant database of programming problems and we're like, okay, now let's Christmasify this. All right. So there's, oops, it should be in here. First things first, let's go ahead and get our input. Don't need that. So we have our input, which is going to be this, and we need to see which two ones add up to 2020. So I have to say, I haven't quite woken up for the morning. I know it's 10:30, but I don't know. Didn't sleep the best last night, but anyway, let's do the naive approach to this, which is simply iterating over the list and just like trying every single possibility. And so what that would entail is 2 for loops. So I'm gonna do one with I. We'll do this, and then one with J. Input. So it's important that we get this edge case, which is if I equals J, then we want to skip. So we'll continue. And the reason we'll do that is because we don't want there to be like, if there's 1010 in here somewhere and you do 1010 plus 1010, you'll get 2020, right? And that's not a valid answer because you can't use the same number twice. You can only use 2 distinct numbers. At least that's what I think the prompt said. 2 entries, yeah. Find the 2 entries. Right, so we have to skip over that edge case, which honestly, it's day 1 of Admin of Code, so they probably don't, like, they might not even check for this, but in case they do, we're covered. And then all we're gonna do is do input of I plus input of J. Rather, if equals too much equals 2020. Then the answer is I do write host here because I don't want to emit to the pipeline unless I have to. Don't be afraid of write host. All right, let's run this guy and see what we get, shall we? Nothing. We get a whole lot of nothing. So let's see. We're starting at 0. Let's just make sure that I like got input correctly. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Wait, what? Oh, that's weird. That's an odd bug. All right, let's reload the extension just in case. Can also go here and run it there. Oh my gosh. Nothing. What did I do wrong here? Am I crazy? Excuse me. Is this a daily build problem? Okay. Am I overriding input maybe? Should I not do that? Let's try this again. One more time. One more time. Right, input might be reserved. That would make sense, yeah. Okay. Okay, there we go. We see the input at least. So now the question is, surprised by this actually. So let's see. Let's just see where the debugger leaves us off. Obviously, this is that, so we're gonna continue. Whoops. We're gonna continue. And naturally, that will be false. Let's do this. Oh, you're totally right. You're right, Aspen. It's definitely a type problem. How could I be so naive? There we go. I mean, really, like, the best way is to do this. So we'll get rid of all these. And I think if we do one of these, it might work. Yeah, okay. Well, we got our answer. It logged it twice because it did the reverse, right? It did like, I don't know what indexes these are, but it did index 0 and 5 and then 5 and 0. So really what it should be is $I here +1, because we can assume that we've not only done like it doesn't, like, order doesn't matter, right? So when this runs for the first time, it's going to be I is 0, J is 1. That prevents this from happening. Then it'll be, then when I is 1, we don't need to test if J is 0 because we already tested when I was 0 and J was 1. Does that make sense? So we can do I +1, and that makes the solution faster, and we'll only log the one time. There we go. We'll just do it like this instead. Oops. Much nicer. There we go. So, now what? Can we make this any faster? don't think we can. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Well, let's go ahead and submit this since we got the answer. Because I have a feeling we're going to get a part 2. That's a good way to put it, Aspen Forrester. If you picture it like a square grid of numbers, you only have to evaluate the lower left or upper right of the triangular half. That's correct. You are 1 gold star closer to saving your vacation. Let's continue to part 2. The elves in accounting are thankful for your help. One of them even offers you a starfish coin they had left over from their past vacation. They offer you a second one if you can find 3 numbers in your expense report that meet the same criteria. Using the above example again, the 3 entries that sum to 2020 are those 3 numbers. Multiplying them together produces that number. In your expense report, what is the product of the 3 entries that sum to 2020? The input hasn't changed. All right, so I'm gonna just change that to in, since it's the same. For both parts. And then let's do a new part 2 here. So naturally, let's do the naive solution first. So I'm gonna copy basically all of this, and we're gonna do a similar situation here, where instead we do another for loop, this time with ijk in okay, so if any of them are the same, we're using the same numbers, so we'll continue. And then if I plus j plus in of $k equals 2020, then the answer is I j k. Major indents going on here. Can we do this? Is it the same thing? Let me think for a sec. So obviously first time around we want 0, 1, and 2. 0, 1, and 2 is also equal to, yeah, I think this is right. Let's see. Let's see. That is the right answer. You're 1 gold star closer to saving your vacation. Nice. That was pretty easy. Is it the most optimal though? I think it is. You have an efficiency improvement? Do tell. I think in this scenario, we will never reuse indices. 'For my solution, I check if I and J was less than 2020. That's a good point. That is a very good point. If it was, then I do the next loop. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess in that logic, let's look at the input. I was looking for any numbers in the input that were greater than 2020, but there are none. So that makes sense. Otherwise, you could also add the... I mean, I guess you could do it anyway, right? You could do in of I... Oh my gosh. Is greater than 2020. Actually, yeah, that's a way to short circuit this. No, because it has to sum. Yeah, so it's greater than 2020 because maybe there's an entry for 0. Hypothetically, there isn't, but like hypothetically, we want to get every single edge case here. So if I is greater than 2020, then we can continue. And then here we'll do if I plus J is greater than 20. And actually, we can save a calculation by saying ij sum equals this. Ij sum. And then we put that down here. Ij sum. Yeah, good. No, you can't. Because you want it to continue. Sorry. I started the inner loop at index +1 compared to the outer loop's position value. I think I have that here, right? I +1. And then you could also put these in the loop conditions, right? So the loop, you couldn't put these in the loop conditions because you were continuing. If you were breaking, then yes. But in our case, we want to just skip over this particular index and continue in the loop. But if I added like an OR here and then did the greater than 2020, then that's just gonna quit the whole loop altogether. Unless you know some magical syntax that I don't know, which is also very possible. So, edge case if is this assumes that 0 could be a valid value. If 0 is not valid, then this would be greater than or equal to. Save the sum since we use it in a couple and more than one spot. If the sum is already greater than 2020, then we don't need to go into the loop, the third loop. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is an and. That's my bad. It should have been and. But see, this part of the for loop determines whether or not you should continue to iterate through the loop. Whether or not you should continue looping. If I add what you're suggesting there, then that's going to stop the loop before... stop the loop when really I want it to continue. So let me see if I can try to prove what I mean by this. So you're saying... Let's take the part 1, because that'll be easier to manage. Yeah, in fact, let's just modify the part 1 really quickly. So you're saying, oh, okay, you got it. All right, good. No, it's okay. I mean, I like the idea of condensing the code as much as possible, especially for something like this. I wish a for loop had something like that. In fact, like, I think Python's list comprehension concepts can do something like that. But for loops are just so easy to understand. So they're like pretty straightforward. They just really can only do one thing. But they do it well. But anyway, glad you're caught up. If the sum is already greater than 2020, then we don't need to go into the third loop. See what you're doing in the second half. Good. I mean, this part was Core Bob who gave me the idea, so I can't take credit for that, but... Okay, so now we can't use the same index twice. All right. And then, yeah, that's fine. I think that's well commented. Read in input as array of ints instead of strings. All right, shall we do the same for part 1 really quick? I think that's the only short-circuiting we need to do. Hang on 1 second. I will be right back. See ya. Bye. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Cool. I think this is optimized enough. I could add some comment here, like, wait, what? Thought I quit out of Teams. Go away. Like that. Yeah, cool. All right, I think that looks good. It's a pretty easy question. You can't quit on your team. True. I'm contemplating whether or not I should do one more or if I should convert this into another language. I don't know. What would you like to see me do? I could do the second question, or I can show you how I would take this code and turn it into a different language. Both, I think, are interesting skills. Puzzle 2 is an interesting one. Can you tackle it in a language you have much less experience in? The converting part or puzzle 2? Like which? I could do puzzle 2 in a different language. Like I went to a workshop on Rust yesterday. I haven't used much Rust, but I could. Excuse me. It's like a pretty trivial problem. All right, here. How about this? I'll spend what 10 minutes converting this into Rust, and then we'll move on to number 2. So let's see here. What did I use? Exactly. Day 1 Rust. Okay. I could have sworn, man, it sucks. I don't see the commands that I ran. I want to say it was Rust, or maybe it was probably cargo actually. Yeah. Okay. Cargo. All right. This is what it was. Cargo new day 1 Rust. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Cargo new day 1 Rust. I'm gonna open this in another instance of VS Code. All right. We don't need any of this. Let's see if I remember how to do this. It's pretty straightforward. Like, ooh, that doesn't look good, does it? Process handler for. All right. I don't know if that's good or bad, but. Okay. There's our function main. So. Let's get rid of this. We're not going to need that. Let's do. Huh? What? Someone's overridden my key bindings. I just wanted to go, I just wanted it to go over here. Gosh. Really losing the screen real estate here, huh? Alright, so, let's see. Read. STDFS must be path in .txt. And I think we gotta do one of these. Is that right? That's not right. That can't be right. Is it var? It's not var, is it? Hang on. I already deleted my unused result that must be used. Warn unused. So this result may be an error variant which should be handled. Oh shoot, I did this yesterday. But I deleted it. Why did I do that? Why did I delete the example I was using? Okay. Pattern matching Rust. I know it's this. Right. Cool. Right, it's let. Duh. Let in doesn't like in, does it? It's probably reserved. Yeah. Put. All right, let's just let me full screen this for a bit. All right, unused variable. Read input. What is this? All right, so then we do match input okay. Vec. Folks, my goodness. Okay. We need this. Error. E. R. All this just to read the dang file in. I should put this in a function. Print line couldn't find file. And then I don't know how to panic. Error. Okay, that seemed to work. So what is a vec of U8? I assume vec is vector, which means like an array list. But what is U8? Let's see. Let's see what good old Stack Overflow has to say. Here's... Alright, maybe we just do this. Whoa, what? And try to convert it. What is this? What if we do... result, but back of that, comma, error? Am I allowed to do that? Error? std colon fs colon error? Huh? Oh. Explain yourself, Reed. Error. Oh man, really rough. Oh jeez, what have I done? Okay. What kind of error is this? Tell me. Tell me your secrets. What kind of error is this? Ah! Oh my god. It's an error, but what kind of error? I'm so confused. Oh, IO. Dang. Well, it was worth a shot. Maybe we could cast this. Let int array int vec equal vec. Okay, so this is gonna say can't do that conversion. Okay, fine. So parse. Wait. You know, I just realized. Now look, I'm not gonna look at their answers, but I just want to see that first line of reading in the file. That's it. Oh, you little cheater. Oh no, okay. Real input lines collect. Okay. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. We do not need to do this pattern matching. We just expect that that file is going to be there. Otherwise, it'll panic. So then we do this. And then we do let input. Yeah. Import standard FS. What? What do you want? What? Type annotations needed. Consider giving input a type. Oops. I don't know how to read any of this. Could we maybe do... value, what is this saying? A value of type vec I32 cannot be built from an iterator over elements of type string. The trait from iterator is not implemented for vec I32. Jeez, this sucks. All right, I'm looking at what they've done here. Well, that's lame. They just parse it. So they do what I was doing before, right? Which was, they just accepted the fact that this was a string. And string, like that. Okay, it likes that. And so now we can do a for loop, yeah? Let's see. All right. Do they have it here? Okay, it's for... This is something completely different. For string in input dot len but we need the index. Use size. What? Yeah, you got me. You got me, Corbob. Is there really... Go away. Go away. Oh my goodness. Indefinite loop. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. So weird. This is I. And this is J. And this is I plus 1. This is saying it's not used? Okay. All right. We're back. Hello, Brett. No, this is not my first stream from the new house. I've done a few by now, but this is one of them in the new house. Yes. Okay. Gosh, what a what a mess. All right. Parse Rust parse int from string. Okay, we'll do this. Let I value equals input. Please let me be able to do this. All right, it likes that. It likes that. Gosh. J let J. Hey, now we're cooking with gas here. Sorry, wrong one. I need to go here where we do this. We're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done. And we're gonna do int ival plus jval equals, then we will do print line this, where we will do this one. I know this one. I know this. It's a Unix system. Jval, and then ival. What? Unnecessary parentheses. Oh, because it's Rust. Okay. Okay, we like snake case in Rust. Got it. Sure, be explicit. Look at that. Beautiful program. Gosh, it's gorgeous. Are we done here? What does it want me to do? That? Okay. Not a single linting error. So one thing that I like about Rust is that you can do this cargo check, and it will say whether or not you have any like linting errors. So in theory, like if I did, remember I had, because I'm so used to other languages, I had these parentheses here, and my editor says obviously you don't need those. This will also say it, cargo check, which is pretty cool. It's like script analyzer, right? And so then we can do cargo build, which just builds it, I believe. Yeah. Or you can do cargo run, which will build and run it. And it panicked. No such file. Okay. And I think it's because maybe it's called this now. In. I should probably just put the file in here as well, sure, shouldn't I? Okay. Copy, paste. Let's run it. There it is. We did it. See? It's easy. Honestly, like, it's not terrible. Let's clear out some of this. Let me just get rid of some of this cruft. There we go. That's our solution. I don't like this part. I like in PowerShell that it was more elegant to just read in the string and then cast it. I would love a way to do that so that my input is like already, you know, already in the right format. Maybe I can do Rust integer vector from string vector, maybe. The reality is, it might be a matter of making my own function that does this, but I feel like there has to be some gosh. There has to be something, right? Function convert to vec ints. Maybe something like that. And then we do there's gotta be a better way. Indeed. Is this like TypeScript where I do this? Or maybe I do result of vec I32 comma underscore like that. Is that what normal people do? No? No, they don't do that? No? If I just write this, FN. Dang it. I was hoping for like a Rust snippet of a good function. See, this is the... Whoa, what? lines. I wonder if real input dot lines. Could we map maybe? Cast items in array Rust. Okay, okay. Here it is. String. Why did they do this? What is this syntax? What in the world is this syntax? Oh my gosh, what is all this? What in the world? Okay. What if we just did that? What? Let's see if this works. Oh my gosh. Hello, Cyberhawk. Welcome to the fun. There it is. We did it. We got it. We rusted. Yep, that's right. You know, honestly, it's pretty elegant. It makes sense to me now that I'm like looking at it. It's just the syntax is a little different. So like the map, right? It's like map is like for each, right? When you pipe to for each, pipe to percent sign, and this is your input. In our case, this is just a string. This is your param block, so to speak. I don't know why it's fenced. I think that's a little weird, rather than just using like parens like every other language, but fine. And then this makes sense. I mean, we looked up how to parse a string to an int, so just saying this is how you do it, I'm gonna just take their word on that. I believe unwrap is just like basically like, because there's no exceptions in Rust, there is working and then there's panic, where the program just dies. So unwrap just says, listen, I know for a fact that this is going to be an int32. So that's the way it's gonna be. What do you send here? So as uint, I see. Maybe we could try it. I have doubt because it's going from a string to an int, whereas in this case, I think they're going from an int to an unsigned int, which is like equivalent, right? But like a string to an int could be bad. Like you can always turn an int into a uint, but you can't always turn a string into an int, right? But we can try it, see what happens. I'm happy to give it a go. As int, yeah? Yeah, it doesn't like that. Oh. Well, let's do uint like they do. Okay, they don't, it doesn't, what? Okay. I don't know what that was, to be honest. But yeah. I don't think that works. So there you go. I mean, look. Once we got our input looking fine, the for loop is identical, right? And in fact, this is unnecessary now that it looks much more elegant. So we can take this out, replace it here. Put this here. And, whoops. Okay, input a J. Nice. There we go. Rust, everyone. One thing that we could do is we need to add this line here. Oh, this isn't 100% correct. I'm sorry. Forgive me if I is, I'm guessing it's this, equal to J, then we continue. That appears to be the word to use. Excellent. And here, if if input of looking at the wrong code, is greater than 2020, then continue. And naturally I did that. All right, I think this is the same code now. What's the comments? Is it this? No, this? Yeah, okay. Whoops. All right, I'm gonna zoom out just so that you can see the code side by side. All right. There we go. go. And I'm just gonna slide over a little bit here. Cut off the main just so that you can see the meat of it. But there you go. I do know about control dash, but the problem is PowerShell uses pound and Rust uses // so I was just copying the things over, and I needed to get rid of the pound in the Rust side. I don't think that should ever evaluate the true. So if I and j are equal, yeah, exactly. This shouldn't happen ever. So we don't need this. Sweet. And I think the same is true for part 2, right? This can never be true, because k is always j plus 1 and j is always I plus 1 and I. So we can get rid of this. All right. Listen, I don't know. I think in the end, once they are two very distinct languages. They do things very differently. You'd be surprised how many people will dive right into PowerShell and be confused by the fact that we use dash greater than and dash less than instead of caret equals or caret, or using dash eq instead of equals equals. This probably would have tripped people up, although it's much simpler than this. It's little syntaxy details like this that certainly can get folks. So that's that. Was that interesting? That's some Rust for you. It's a pretty cool language, I have to say. The reason I think it's cool is that from an editor perspective, I feel like I'm getting a lot of information. I feel like the VS Code extension is very solid. I feel like it feels much higher level than it actually is. As they compare Rust to like C and C++, like doing very lower level stuff, right? And honestly, I feel like it's so much easier than C because you don't have to like manage pointers and any of that stuff, right? So it's very useful for a very specific thing.